Hi, I'm Nathaniel Hoover. I'm a staff writer for GameCola.net, and this... Uh... Why am I tied up to... Oh, wait, sorry. I think we got a bit of a mixed notes here. Hold on a second. Here we go, sorry. My bad. It kinda happens when you're living in a dumpster for a good chunk of your life. You start to lose your identity. Anyways, Nakamura! My name is Sage Blake. I'm a wanderer, storyteller, artist and mature, and this time on Sage After, it's blue, it's spiky, and if you blur the lines enough, then it could look like a hedgehog, I guess. This is Megaman Y+1, or rather, a demo for the upcoming Y+1 project. I actually don't know whether it's released or not yet. I'll do some additional research, just to make sure. But regardless, this is a thing. This appeared at Sage. Feel free to take a look at it. I happen to like Mega Man games. True story on that one. Actually, come to think of it, one of the first things that I did for streaming material is actually play through the entirety of MaGMML Episode 0. If you haven't seen those videos, please, take a look at it. They're very early, I'm sorry, and to be honest, hey, them's the breaks, it happens. Hell, I would like to play more Mega Man games on the channel, to be honest, because I happen to like Mega Man. I happen to like Mega Man Star Force more. And yes, I do have plans to, at some point, screw you, Sniper Joe. I have plans at some point to play Mega Man Star Force 1, 2, potentially 3 as well. It depends on a few different things. It's something on the itinerary, but it's gonna take a bit for me to get to that point. Okay, standard Rush Coil. And otherwise, it seems to be using the same engine as Mega Maker. Whoop. What the heck is this? Other than cool. Ah! Well, that's an accurate response to having a giant log thrown at you. Ah! The reckless abandon for gravity. Now available on Steam. Anyways, I have a bit of a story as to why I'm picking Y+1 this time around. And that story is actually really simple to tell. I recorded the footage for the first game, took about like 15 minutes, and then decided, yeah, this isn't gonna be enough for the week, I need something more substantial. So I picked randomly a few different games to check out. The first one that I checked out was literally a test demo that barely had anything in it. Like, pretty much I spent 3 minutes walking right, and that was it. I might use that footage again if I decide to cover, rather, when I decide to cover the 2021 entry of that specific game. But until then, it's just gonna remain a mystery. No one will ever care. Look. These mosquito bots are amazingly stealthy. I could learn from them. 3, 4. Okay, so by the look of it, I'm just gonna need to do a bit of weaving. Ah, not again! This is what happens. Anyway, past that first game that will go unmentioned, I tried to get a second game to work. It went about as well as you'd expect. That second game was, unfortunately, one that I'd been waiting for quite a while, And it kind of just snuck into Sage that I know of. That game being Mega Man Perfect Blue. But for one reason or another, I can't seem to get the demo to work. I keep getting spammed with an error message that's like, hey, guess what? We need to connect to a specific file, and because you have a Razer mouse, and yes, specifically because you have a Razer mouse, we're just going to continue flashing this error message at you every 3 seconds, and good luck trying to play the demo. Which sucks, because I was waiting to try it for so long, and due to a variety of different issues, among which including but not limited to a whole bunch of other demos that I want to look at, surgery, and an entire mess past everything else, I never got the chance. And it absolutely sucks, because, like, the artwork, the gameplay looks so good, and I can't experience it at all. It sucks when I have to do that. And why am I sucking at Mega Man? Has it just been that long? Actually, I think it has been that long. Oh no. Well, on the bright side, you're getting an extra long video, potentially, for the secondary. I still need to have a laugh over that one. Really now. The first video you record is like 15 minutes, less when edited. And it's the second that ends up pulling main feature. What the hell? What the hell? I shouldn't have played so wildly. Nope. You know, me. You've gotten into this situation at least a few different times now. I thought you would have learned not to start trying to show off. You're not Nathaniel Hoover. You may think your voice sounds like his, and probably it doesn't. Whoop! Whoop! Ah! Try again, try again, try again, try again. How many hits does this thing take? Whoa! Nope. No! What?! Excuse me?! Future Blake, could you, like, go back to that footage, rewind it, play it in slow motion? What the hell is this? I mean, I'm pretty sure that that wasn't supposed to count as damage, but somehow it did. Maybe I'm glitched. It could be that I'm glitched. My memories are faulty. Actually, come to think of it, my hands are cracking. Might wanna consume crystal items. Also, what is the HP spawn rate of some of these enemies? I could have sworn that, at least for MaGMML or even Mega Maker, I would have gotten at least a few small HP pickups by now. But as it turns out, no, not Rush. Not now, Pooch. I can feed you after this. The special bolts are in their special bowl! And they're in their special place. Remind me later to show you. Oh good, checkpoint, thank you. Also, good flashing on-screen indicator to tell the player... What? I'm sorry, is that a runaway saw blade? The perspective kind of looks a little funky on that. I want to change the sprite a little bit on that. But that's still absolutely hilarious to look at. If only I had the weapon that properly destroys that. Oh well, I'll get to it eventually. That's a cool gimmick. But yeah, this isn't exactly your grandma's standard Mega Man fan game. There are some liberties taken in places. Specifically because, well, it's a fan game. It doesn't have to be restricted to 18-bit. And that was actually the reason why I want to look at Perfect Blue, too. Because that game claims it's 8-bit, but the art sure as hell don't look 8-bit. If anything, it looks 16. Eh! Just damage tank through it. I'm good. You can go away, and your Saw Blade can go onto the ether. Okay, thanks, die. Well, credit where it's due, he knows exactly how to bug me. Speaking of bugs... that cannon's a particularly big one. Glad it's out of the way. Gonna have to log that. What? No! I was gonna say something along the lines of gonna have to log that one in needs work. But evidently, that's not the only thing that needs work. Oh, I thought I'd quick through that. Nice detail. It's the little things in some of these games. You know, the little details where pieces of wood go into saw blades and come out clean on the other side. How did I not recognize that those were spells? It's been one of those days, evidently, where I'm just absolutely suck at platforming. It's fine. It's fine. It's not like I played a Sonic game before this, and might have been a bit conditioned to the speed. No, definitely not. Let's try this again, this time with a little less saw blades to the face. You know what? Screw it. Just tank damage. Better. Make your jokes now about riding. Please don't. Actually, that's a really easy one. There we go. I should watch what I say. Really easy one when I'm talking about... Anyways! Ah! Nice shot, Sniper Joe. Nice shot, Sniper Joe. You win this one. Ow. Someone's going to scream at me for this. Chances are it's going to be editing me when I get around to it. I do a fair chunk of that. Okay, that was a clean performance. Now, how am I going to totally screw this up? Answer, by trying to show off. Again, me. You're not Nathaniel Hoover. Only he gets to show off. Only he gets to show off in a Mega Man game and make it entertaining. But, I mean, you could try to show off in places, but let's face it, it's gonna go about as well as trying to find something useful within a garbage can. Sometimes you get lucky. More often than not, you just get garbage. There we go. Now let's try this again. Hopefully this time with a little less failure. Good so far. Shoot that out. This is awkward. I hit jump! I am gonna have a lot to edit out of this, aren't I? Ooh, boy. Good to know that those are instant death. I mean, what'd you expect was gonna happen to me? It's a giant fucking saw blade. What do you think it was gonna do? Give Megaman a mega haircut? Well, it's gonna cut more than just his hair. It's also gonna give him more than just a little buzz. Better. Slowly, I will, get my quota. So far, so good. Now, don't mess up against the Sniper Joe. You only messed up once against the Sniper Joe. How did you feel accomplished? Whoop! Try again! Nice sucker punch right there. Good thing my reaction times are fairly decent. Speaking of fairly decent, hello, Buzzsaw Man Pants Man. You travel quite a bit. And you're reminding me a lot of Jumpman, for one reason or another. What was the winning scenario for me there? Okay, so what was that charge? That was an interesting gimmick. Actually, come to think of it, this boss's attack patterns are pretty interesting, all things considered. I'm vaguely reminded of Quarantine Woman from MaGMML 2. Man, I would totally love to do an entire playthrough of MaGMML 2. Ah! Unfortunately, the last time I played MaGMML 2, it was like one of my least popular streams, period. Hell, there's still some among the least popular videos that I've got on the YouTube channel, too. Whoop! Oh, come on! Jeez, you do a lot of contact damage. Whew. I'm starting to think my Buster just doesn't deal enough damage to this guy. Ah. Yeah, I'm feeling very underwhelmed by my damage output right now. What the heck? This is the first boss. It could just be because I'm doing this potentially out of sync. Usually a Mega Man game has like a specific order in which you beat Robot Masters, get their weapons, and it becomes a hell of a lot easier. This is starting to hit levels of unfair. Like, to the point that I'm starting to think that maybe I shouldn't be fighting this guy without his weakness weapon. And that's not a good feeling. This coming from someone who likes playing hard games. Okay, so what am I doing wrong? Take a moment to analyze this. Maybe if I shortened my jumps a little bit into the uncomfortable category. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, so here's the deal on this boss. I have a few choice words to say. The mentality when it comes to designing good Robot Master fights is, or at least from the creators from Capcom, is that the patterns should be somewhat tricky, but again, there should be a pattern. There isn't a pattern. While the boss fight is interesting, and I'll give the creators credit for that, bear in mind that Mega Man games tend to have two audiences to cater to. The purists, and the typicals, so to speak. Purists, and in some respects I can somewhat apply to this, prefer to play Mega Man games such that they only use the Mega Buster. Sure, it's a little more difficult, but again, that's the qualifier here. A little more difficult. This feels straight up like a test of luck. Because, while with something like, say, Starman or Aquaman, and yes, there is a robot master named Aquaman, there are specific patterns to the boss's attacks, and if you know those patterns, you can easily weave around them, and you feel like a badass for being able to essentially gimmick a boss like this. This doesn't feel like gimmicking a boss, it feels like getting lucky, and that's not exactly good design. Hell, I can point to the bosses within MaGMML. As a person who has played through the entirety of MaGMML 1, 2, and 0. 100%. This doesn't feel like a boss that would be within their boss rush. And they do have some fairly tricky bosses within their boss rushes, I think. But again, every single one of the bosses not only can be beaten Buster only, but they also have tried and true and somewhat predictable and reactable patterns. Some of this boss's attacks are reactable, and then the boss decides, hey, let's just do 5 jumps in a row, when you weren't expecting that. If the coding on this boss is like, RNG, using simple RNG, that's already your first mistake for designing a boss. Don't use simple RNG. You want it to be in patterns. Specifically because the point of a Mega Man game is not just to clear the bosses using their special weapons only, but for some people, they get their enjoyment by beating bosses Buster only, and that I've seen for this boss so far, I'm using every piece of the arsenal that I know of, and it's not helping. Hell, the one run that seemed to have gone really close to succeeding, that was luck, honestly. I got some really good patterns. Feel free to flash that footage back up, future me.
No.
I can understand the pieces of the boss fight, but the problem is, there's no set order to the actions. It's that I can tell at least, simply picking an action on simple RNG. And that's not great. That's not good design. Okay. You know what? Screw you too, game. I'll try a different boss. Voltman. Ah, the tried and true Gabiel enemy. Okay, so far, kinda liking the gimmick of this. Playing around with electricity and electrical currents. Through a whole bunch of timing-based puzzles. I like that. I'll take some blame on that. I shouldn't be going full Cavalier. Again, I shouldn't be going full Cavalier. I should be playing it safe and carefully observing my environment. Which I'm not doing because it's like 11 at night. What? That clipped my feet? You're kidding. Okay, there's a quick slide button. Already a good addition that MaGMML and many other Mega Man fan games tend to use. Shootable switches. This isn't gonna go wrong in the slightest inconvenience. He said sarcastically. You. I remember you from Plugman's stage. Okay, that was my fault. Again, taking full responsibility. I knew what the switch was going to do, I shot, I didn't jump into it. Again, predictable hazard, predictable problem. Compared to... I guess it was Lumberman? I don't bloody know. That boss didn't feel all that fair. I'm sorry. It doesn't feel like a well-designed boss. It feels like one of the bosses from Yggdrasil in MaGMML 2. And for the people who haven't played MaGMML 2, don't play Yggdrasil. That's the subtlest hint I can give. Because Yggdrasil, even by the creator, is not fun to play. Not well designed. Case in point for things not well designed, me? That was another me issue. The trap is fairly well designed there, just for whatever reason, it's been a mix of ineptitude and in some cases, questionable design. In this case, it was just full ineptitude. I'll take... Because I'm not above or below admitting my own faults. I'm not above admitting my own faults. I recognize the type of person I am, I recognize the type of gamer I am, and I've never been the type of person who would say that admitting you made a mistake when playing is a bad thing. So take that, anyone who decides to follow Ninja. Okay, good. And shoot this switch too, because otherwise there's no way in hell you'd make that jump. The average jump width for Megaman is 4 blocks, if I remember correctly. And that was at least 6. Ah! No! That's a clever challenge. I like it. I didn't realize there was a switch right there. What? I feel like a bit of a dummy for not realizing that there's a switch on the left side, but maybe that's just me? Yeah, the two biggest things I can point to for things that might need to be tweaked. One, maybe increase the drop rate on health. Because there's a drastic dearth of it. If difficulty is what you're going for, okay, fine. I guess you can waive that one. But there are better ways to make a difficult challenge fun than reducing the amount of HP pickups you can get. Wow, I can't believe I actually calculated that as 6. Oh my god, Jack. Somehow my gut for pixel-based games is amazingly accurate. I'll take it. Whoop. I wish my gut actually reacted to that situation first, as opposed to having me jump spikes. What, gut? Were you out to lunch or something? Jeez. Ah, no! Seriously, me? Better. Okay, there's the... Okay, half of the show-offery. That would have been nice to point at. But hey. Good jump, good jump, good jump. You know me, 1 hit's worth of damage would have been fine. 2 hits is a little extremist. Better. And of course I swear, it's a running gag that I just die before the checkpoint. Watch the shocky bits. Chat. Okay, that's a well-designed trap right there. Credit where it's due. Okay, how... So, I have to climb up to the top of the ladder to do that. Okay. Okay, that's a cool trap. Another instance of good design. And another instance of good design right here. Shoot that to make it stay still. There we go. That's a cool enemy. That gimmicks with the platforms when it explodes. It's shot. Cool. How did I dodge that? I'll take it. When I said I'll take it, game, I meant living, not dying. Good. Do your shocky thing. I'll take a hit. Whew! Bit of a nutty design right there, but nice. I should have faced left. But now I know. Just the crux of my arguments when it comes to designing good Mega Man levels is, are you able to learn? And if so, what is the extent to which you can learn? If that extent turns out to be too low, then you need to purposely knock back some parts of the design just so people can, in fact, learn. Because at the end of the day, these are meant to be enemy-based and platforming-based challenges. And part of the fun of being able to get through them is being able to learn how they work and gimmick with them. I've always been a proponent of logic, reason, failure anyway. Essentially, the only way to learn is through trial and error and failure. Case in point right there. I didn't know what to expect, I died, and instead of being depressed that I died, I said, okay, what can I learn from the way I died? And thus, I figured out how to properly fight this boss. Every time the explosion happens, the blocks switch. So, I just take 2 shots at the enemy, then take a shot at the switch. Simple. It's a learning experience, and if you're designing something where you don't get the ability to learn, then therein lies your first issue. Mega Man is hard, but it's meant to be a learnable type of hard. The accomplishment comes from being able to understand the challenge and overcome it through your own reflexes and learning potential. That's why purposely inducing an incredibly difficult challenge isn't necessarily fun in many cases. Because the most you're learning out of it is, okay, I died. In other words, you're not learning at all. The best type of difficulty in games is one in which the challenge allows you to not only overcome it through potentially trial and error, but also be able to learn from it and be able to extrapolate skills to use later on in the game. Or better still, being able to apply techniques that you normally wouldn't think of using. That is a bit of a sucker punch right there. An instance of cheap difficulty, if I may. And yes, there is a drastic difference between the two. Cheap difficulty is essentially something like a gotcha trap, a sucker punch. Something that almost feels like the developers are saying, aha, you didn't have the 0.001 seconds to react to this item, too bad, you lose. It doesn't feel fair, because you're essentially being thrust into a challenge that you had no way of overcoming from the very start. You don't feel empowered for clearing it, you just feel lucky. It's a mark of bad game design. Or rather, game design that needs improvement. Whoop. Whew, that was a little close. You have more than enough time to react to that challenge. It's not that hard. Oh, so you're the, jumpy guy of this game, huh? Oh, good. Well, I got to the boss. Now to die to it. But, while I acknowledge I'm going to die, I'm going to learn from it. Figure out what it's capable of. That's an interesting attack. Oh, what?